30,000 feet of panic. The cabin was quiet. Passengers were dozing off, watching movies, reading. Then came a scream, a struggle, and panic. A passenger had bolted from their seat, grabbed the emergency exit mid-flight, and tried to open the door. At 30,000 feet, it wasn't just terrifying, it could have been deadly. This is the true story of the day a routine flight turned into a desperate scramble for survival. Routine flight turns chaotic. It was Flight 2742, a domestic flight from Los Angeles to Seattle. 137 passengers. 5 crew members. Weather was clear. Everything was normal. Until it wasn't. Midway through the flight, a 29-year-old man suddenly stood up. He sprinted toward the emergency exit near the wing. Multiple passengers later said he was yelling, "We need to get out. They're poisoning the air." Crew response. Flight attendants attempted to calm him, but he fought back. He grabbed the exit handle and began pulling. Passengers jumped up to restrain him. What happens if you open a plane door mid-flight? Can someone really open a plane door mid-flight? The answer: almost certainly not, but it doesn't make the attempt any less dangerous. At cruising altitude 30,000 plus FT, cabin is pressurized. Opening the door would require superhuman force. Impossible. But the panic, chaos, and injury from the attempt is very real. People near the door risk falling, being trampled, or attacked. Aircrew must assess if it's a terrorist act, mental health crisis, or drug reaction. Who was the passenger? The man who sparked the panic was later identified as Ryan Hale, a software analyst from Sacramento, California. No criminal history. No signs of violence. But behind that clean record was a man unraveling in silence. Ryan was reportedly suffering from untreated bipolar disorder with psychotic episodes. Family said he had recently gone off his medication. Claimed people were watching him through the TV. At the airport, he had already been behaving erratically, talking to himself, pacing. TSA cleared him because he passed security and showed no physical threat. Emergency landing. With the passenger restrained, the captain had a choice: continue to Seattle or land immediately. He chose to land. Plane diverted to Portland International Airport. Emergency services met the plane on the tarmac. Ryan was taken into custody and later hospitalized for mental health evaluation. 3 passengers were treated for minor injuries sustained during the struggle. FAA and FBI opened investigations into the incident. Aftermath and aviation implications. No one died that day, but the trauma left a mark. And questions still hang in the air. Could this happen again? Should airlines do more to screen for mental health? What's the balance between freedom and flight safety? Airline issued a statement praising crew and passengers. FAA reviewed cabin protocols. Discussions around mandatory reporting of mental health crises reignited. Ryan Hale was not charged criminally, he was placed under psychiatric care. Debate grows. Should he have been allowed to fly? One handle away from disaster. In a pressurized cabin with lives hanging in the balance, one man's delusion nearly caused mass panic and injury. The system held, but barely. This wasn't terrorism. It wasn't sabotage. It was a mental health emergency. At 30,000 feet. And it's not as rare as you think. What happens if there is an attempt to open the emergency exit door mid-air? Opening an emergency door mid-flight is an alarming thought, but it's important to note that modern aircraft are designed with safety features to prevent such occurrences. At cruising altitude, the pressure difference between the inside of the aircraft and the outside atmosphere makes it nearly impossible to open the door. The cabin is pressurized, effectively sealing the doors in place. If someone were somehow able to open an emergency exit at lower altitudes or during an emergency where the cabin is not pressurized, it could lead to rapid decompression, which would cause a sudden drop in cabin pressure. Oxygen masks would deploy to help passengers breathe, and the pilots would initiate a rapid descent to a safer altitude. It's also worth mentioning that any attempt to open an emergency door mid-flight is illegal and would be met with serious legal consequences. If you want more real-life stories that reveal the hidden dangers around us, subscribe now. Because the truth doesn't always wait on the ground. Like, comment, subscribe to the Crime Narrative channel for more in-depth documentaries on crime, crisis, and the human condition.